When caught in a swirling storm of anxiety or depression, the worst advice you can get is to just sit down and meditate. Trying to force a panicked mind into stillness is nearly impossible. That chaos has a structural root. Your brain is split into two halves that process reality very differently. Your left hemisphere handles words, logic, and active emotions, while your right hemisphere understands pure sound, vibration, and stillness. When these two sides fall out of sync, your mental state spirals out of control. Ancient tantric traditions mapped this out centuries ago through the concept of Ardhanarishvar. As you can see in this half Shiva, half Parvati form, it represents the physical and energetic equilibrium between stillness, Shiva, and action, Shakti. You don't have to spend decades in a monastery to find that equilibrium. You can manually force your left and right hemispheres back into alignment in just 5 minutes, using a specific physical technique known as Kichdi. The goal here is not to silence your mind through willpower. Instead, we are going to physically mix your body's opposing energies until they cancel each other out, leaving you entirely grounded. Step 1 is to find a place to sit. You can be on a chair, the edge of your bed, or the floor. The only strict requirement is to straighten your spine slightly. Next, raise your hand and use your thumb or finger to completely block off one nostril. It doesn't matter which side you start with. Now for the actual technique. Do not just breathe through your open nostril. You need to visualize the entire open half of your body acting as one giant lung. As you inhale, imagine pulling air inwards simultaneously through your ear, eye, hand, and foot on that open side. While you do this, mentally turn off the blocked side. Treat it as if it no longer exists. Expanding your focus to an entire half of your physical form requires massive concentration. It completely overloads your brain's processing capacity, crowding out any lingering anxious thoughts. Hold that breath at the top for just a brief moment. Now, switch your hand position. Block the nostril you just used and open the one that was closed. Exhale completely. But again, visualize pushing the air entirely out through the new open side, out of that foot, hand, and head, while keeping the other side paralyzed. Stay on this newly open side and immediately inhale fully, drawing air back through that entire half of your body. Finally, switch your hand back to the original starting position and exhale completely out of the first side, completing one full cycle. This diagram outlines the continuous loop you will maintain for the next 5 minutes. You inhale on side A, switch, exhale on side B, inhale on side B, switch, and exhale on side A. In Tantra, this aggressive mixing is referred to as Kichdi. By constantly tossing your focus left to right, you blend those active and passive energies, Shiva and Shakti, until they merge into a perfectly balanced center. Severe panic, heavy depression, and sudden anger are all manifestations of unbalanced Shakti, raw energy that has nowhere to go and urgently needs to be grounded. Ancient texts describe this exact dynamic. In scriptural metaphors, when the goddess Kali exhibits destructive rage, Shiva must lie beneath her feet to absorb and balance that force. You see this pattern repeated with other deities too. When Durga projects her immense outward force, it requires an equal stabilizing presence to restore order. We see evidence of this balance in physical movement. When people naturally stumble into this equilibrium, their bodies often respond by swaying from side to side, as seen during a temple arti, as they physically align their left and right hemispheres. Culturally, it's also understood that certain individuals possess this balance naturally. The original Kinars, for instance, are believed to operate from a perfectly centered state, granting them such absolute mental clarity that their spoken words carry the weight of reality. The Kichdi technique functions as a mechanical tool to artificially induce this state of centralized power and deep focus. After exactly 5 minutes of repeating this full-body loop, you will feel those chaotic energies naturally settle into the center of your chest and mind. As the brain hemispheres synchronize, users often report a specific sensation of being physically grounded. By redirecting the energy usually consumed by anxiety, you allow the intellect to rest. I want you to test this ancient science for yourself. Commit to this 5-minute practice every single day for exactly 7 consecutive days. Notice your daily focus sharpen, your communication pull people in, Commit for a full week and return to the comment section to report your results. True mental clarity isn't achieved by fighting your thoughts. It happens when you take the time to physically balance the ancient forces that create them.